joined by women's volleyball coach Russ and Haleigh Frantti currently. Haleigh Washington will join us in a moment. Coach, do you want to start with an opening statement or just go to questions?
Well, I mean, the opening statement would be we're looking forward to the start of the season, and we know that it's a long race, and you need to be healthy, and you need to be smart, and you need to be doing all the things that you have to do over a 14-week season. So it's we start early and always hope to go late. So that's the plan. And speaking of being late, here's my middle blocker.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Didn't know it'd be a 30-minute walk across campus to get here. Who'd have thought?
She's a senior.
Never on the east side of campus.
And we'll open up for questions. Raise your hand. We'll get you a mic.
So, do you feel like expectations are pretty heavy on the team, given everyone coming back from last year?
Well, I always think, there's high expectations in programs that have had great success over the course of time, and you hope that that's why the players come to your institution, to continue a tradition, and as opposed to some schools that say, since they don't have one, they want to start their own. I look at it as, these guys came here and wanted to be a part of the success we've had, and both of them were on the floor when they won national championship their freshman year, and they know the difference between ending with a big party and ending a season disappointed and looking forward to the next one. In their case, this is their next one.
What was it about Cammie and Michaela's prospects that made you say these two need to be Nittany Lions?
Well, we had Cammie in camp for a number of years, so we had a little better handle on her. And she had a great frame for the game, and I thought she was mature beyond her years, and she continued that. She came in mid-year and had good grades, and really responded well to I think a challenging situation coming in mid-year. And Putnicki was somebody that became available with the coaching change at her previous institution, and we got involved in the conversation, and I went and saw her play a couple days later and thought that she would be able to make a good contribution to our program.
Coach, you just spoke about the national championship just a minute ago, and you guys lost in the regional semifinals last year. What are improvements that you plan to make this year? That way you guys get over that hump to get back in that spot in the national championship.
Well, I don't know if it's even getting over the hump, because I just think there's so many good teams, and it's a rally score sport. So it's so many factors come into play. But, I think not all experiences are good, but they're all beneficial. And, I think some of the players learned certain things throughout last year that maybe were different than the previous year. And hopefully, they'll be a little better prepared. But, it's, when you're playing great teams on the road with a full gymnasium, there's a lot of factors that, you really got to have your ducks in a row to pull it off. And, we had a chance and it didn't happen, and you move on, and, you try and get better. That's the answer. No, I mean, this is my 39th year here at Penn State, so I got too much fuel, So I think the players in this age group are smart. They know what they want, and, it's a lot of factors that go into play. So, if I talk about certain things, I certainly wouldn't do it in the media.
For Haleigh and Haleigh, obviously both of you are accomplished players, and heading into your senior year, is there anything in particular that you're still looking to sharpen as far as your individual game goes?
Fran? I think your skills are always developing, and there's never a thing that you're 100% set on. You always have something to get better at, and my hitting is something that I can always get better at, and my blocking is something that I can always get better at. There's never one specific thing. It's something's always not good enough. So maybe at one practice I'm really trying to work on my serve, but for the most part I'm trying to sharpen every part of my game. It's never good enough.
Yeah, like Haleigh said, I think this year especially I want to concentrate on serving aggressive. It's one of the things that Coach talks about a lot in our gym. So being aggressive with our serves is crucial.
For the three of you, with so much offensive production coming back, how does that continuity help? And maybe who are some of the people that we haven't necessarily seen out there on the court, but in the gym right now who are really getting some serious work and impressing you guys with their reps?
Well, I think it's, we'll have better depth when everybody's healthy. I just think right now it was a preseason where, there were days where we had 4 or 5 people that were on the sidelines kind of peering in instead of getting out there battling. So that's the big question, I think. Do you want to push your team really hard at the risk of beating them up a little bit and making them tougher? Or do you want to just have a nice recreational thing and make sure that everybody's happy and healthy and ready to start the season and can't wait to get all their uniforms and new apparel? And obviously, you know which way I lean. So, hopefully we'll be healthy by mid-October and, we'll get after it then.
For both Haleigh and Allie, the match against Nebraska to end last season, it obviously is always tough to lose a match at the end of the season, but the way that one went, being up 2-0, do you guys did you spend any time during the offseason wondering what might have been, or did that change, or was the offseason different from previous off seasons?
I mean, no, the offseason didn't really change. We worked just as hard. We worked just as hard after we won our freshman year as we did after we lost to Hawaii our sophomore year and then losing to Nebraska our junior year. We worked just as hard regardless of the outcome of the previous season, and Coach likes to say, don't focus on the past. So when we play a game, he says, don't focus on the last time that we played them, or don't focus on this. It's about now. So given the ending of last season, even though it was a hard hit and it's still something that makes your stomach curdle, you work just as hard, win or lose.
For the players, outside of volleyball or maybe classes, what's your biggest passion in life?
Fran?
My biggest passion? Well, after college, I hope, and after I'm done with volleyball, I hope to pursue a career in healthcare. I'd like to work in a hospital one day, so I think I did my internship this summer at the Village, so it was really fun to work in a retirement home. I enjoyed it a lot.
Old people.
Yeah.
Fran's passionate about.
Not all old people.
No, they're very young at heart. So
Young at heart.
Yeah.
I did an independent study at the library this past summer semester, and it was amazing. I got to have a conversation with the library curator. She talked about these 15th century medieval manuscripts that we have in the library, and that was pretty cool. So, pretty passionate about the library. It's pretty cool.
I guess having won for the players, having won as a freshman a national championship, is there, obviously you're probably going to have a renewed sense of urgency being seniors and having it be your last year, but is there an added desire to kind of be the ones that lead a national championship team?
definitely, I think winning that freshman year, the seniors really carried us and took us under their wing. So, like for our freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, like we want to win for them. It's an incredible experience and a memory you won't forget. So that's what we're pushing for, leaving the program better than we came in.
Yeah, and being on the floor as a freshman, you have no idea what you're doing. Our freshman year, we were on the floor. We were just kind of running around playing volleyball. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what was going on. If you look at Fran and watch her play freshman year versus now, she's a really different player. She went from just being on the floor to having to have more responsibility and more of a role. So our freshman year was nice because the seniors took over. The seniors were leaders. Some of the juniors were leaders, and we just got to play volleyball. And now we have that different responsibility of it's not just playing volleyball and getting to roll around like a carefree freshman. There are times you have to score points. There are times you have to make a play. There are times someone's not doing their job and you have to recognize that and do your job even more efficiently. So it's more than just playing senior year.
Coach, BTN getting ready to celebrate their 10th anniversary. Obviously, always a very robust TV schedule, BTN Plus schedule. What has kind of the coverage of the network, meant to the program, the alums, and even in recruiting, being able to have that level of exposure?
Well, I mean, I think that's, you pointed out the positives. There's challenges associated with it as well, as far as playing at times where you wouldn't normally be playing and traveling at really tough hours to facilitate that. But, I think it's one of the perks of being in a conference like the Big Ten, where people indicate that it's important enough to put on the air and try to get some matches live. It's a conference that leads the nation in attendance, so, I think they're, they do a nice job of promoting women's sports, and certainly women's volleyball is one of the sports that gets great exposure during the fall.
Coach, you have back in your practice room Dennis. What has it been like having him back, and what is his role with the team?
Well, I think it's great to have Dennis and his family back in State College. His wife's working with women's lacrosse, and, we didn't really have to have a meeting when Dennis came back because, he made such a positive impact on both the men's team and the women's team while he was here. So, I give Dennis kind of a free wheel to talk about the things that he wants to talk about with the players, the same as I do with Craig and Salima. I think if you have a good staff, you have to let them do what they're supposed to do. And, I think the staff does a real good job. And, I know it's just good to have him back in the gym. And I hope the players feel positive about his, interactions as well.
Coach, I've been talking to all the coaches about, what it means to be a part of this type of athletic program. Penn State gets a bunch of national attention. You guys especially, help in that regard, putting it on the map and, going further and further into the tournament each and every year. What does it mean to be a part of a program like this, and what does it mean just to be around, the level of excellence of coaches and in their programs, and kind of picking off of different programs and just seeing, how they try to implement different strategies into their season year in, year out?
Well, I guess I've been a head coach here longer than anybody else, and, I get to draw on the experiences from a lot of the coaches that were here before, as well as the coaches that are here. And, I had a great conversation this morning with Jake Varner from the wrestling team, who won a gold medal, about, how hard they went, and, how hard Kale and Casey and Cody trained in that era, as opposed to maybe how they're training the wrestling team now. So, what I think has always been one of Penn State's strengths is that all of the teams and players and coaches support each other and feel good about interacting and asking questions. But I think it's it's not a right to be a college athlete; it's a privilege, and I think that it's the same thing for coaching as well. So I think it's been it's great, and I was enjoyed listening to the golf to the future pro golfer about his experience here. Same with these guys. They have a chance to be professional athletes when they're done. It's a choice you have to make if that's what you want to do. So, I think, Penn State was on the map long before I arrived, and it'll be on the map long after I'm gone as well, and how it approaches intercollegiate athletics.
For Haleigh and Allie, what was it like watching Mike and Megan represent the U.S. this summer? And do you guys have plans to play for the national team if you can?
It's all you, Fran.
Well, we're incredibly proud of both of them. It was exciting to watch them. Definitely, it would be a goal and dream of mine to do that one day. But yeah, it's crazy to think that they're there right now. So I'm really honored that they're part of the Penn State program.
Yeah, I'm same with Allie. It was amazing seeing Micah and Megan out there, and it's just really cool to see that that's what Penn State does. And we've had more than just Micah and Megan on the national team. We had Megan Hodge, we had Nicole Fawcett, we had Alicia Glass, Chris Nard. Like, we've had so many Penn Staters before them be on the national team, and that was one of the reasons that I came to this place is we produce people like that. So it was really cool seeing that. And Ayana's out there training with them too. And you see her on Instagram spinning the ball on her finger for the USA women's volleyball team Instagram, and it's just really cool and it's really inspiring. And they are very talented athletes, but they're also athletes that work really hard. So the mindset is there that you still have to work just as hard if you want to achieve those goals. And I think if both Fran and I continue to work hard and push ourselves and be the tough athletes that Penn State has made us, that's a dream that could maybe be achieved. Maybe.
One long question.
4 really short questions.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.